Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
You're the expert. I'm the noob, Caliban. And anime is being targeted now.
I know!
Can you believe it? They're targeting anime.
I cannot believe it.
When will it stop?
I know. And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. Yeah, they're attacking anime pretty hard in this episode, but we'll get to that, in just a moment. Today we are talking about episode number 21, Kodomachi no Yume Mamore Anime ni Musubu Yujo in Japanese. Protect the children's dreams, friendship through anime. Excuse me. The English translation and the English title, An Animated Mess.
I am refraining from commenting from here on out.
Oh.
It's just going to be 862. That's not true. It's going to be 180 more. Boy, I'm disappointed by that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Animator blues.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they should have gone with.
Yeah.
Cal, do you want to give a quick breakdown, first impressions?
I don't know how quick it's going to be.
Well, all right.
But it goes like this. The episode starts with, say, do, la, da, do, V, bow. We're going to talk about this Sailor V, B.
Okay.
She's just showing up all over the place.
Yes.
If they're defending Tokyo, they're going to the airport and making jets run into each other.
Yes.
What's Sailor V doing all the time? She's stopping purse snatchers and bank robberies. What's happening here?
I think a little bit of that, yeah.
Well, whatever she
really
does,
know.
whatever she does, it's enough to get her story made into an anime.
I know.
And Usagi's watching a commercial for her anime. And yeah, it does that. And it's like, the Sailor V anime will be coming soon. And her music plays, and it's like a minor key, like organ version of the show's theme. Which is weird.
Point. It is
weird.
Wait
a minute.
Yeah.
Is Moonlight Densetsu, is that Sailor V's song?
I don't think
Because
so.
in the world, we know that song exists in the world. That's Usagi
true.
and Naru do their dance routine to it or whatever.
That is true.
So, I got questions. But I don't want that composer character to come back, so I don't really care.
Oh, ooh.
Rain on my heart, or whatever it was. So, yeah, so she's watching this commercial. Sailor V's got her own anime, and Usagi's a little jealous. And she wants somebody to make an anime about her.
Yeah.
And Luna says, yeah, I'd have to see that to believe it.
I know, it's like...
And I guess they don't have that thing where you look right into the camera in Japan. Because she doesn't.
No, but she should.
Somewhere across town, two young women are walking, and they're discussing their jobs as anime artists. They're having a little trouble with their director. His name is Director Asato. Because he gives them like these abstruse criticisms, like, I don't feel the love here.
Right.
And the girls interpret this as, okay, we should make these more sexy then. And he's like, well, I am a father of a daughter. You come into my anime studio in front of my child. He's got his daughter like on his back, a baby daughter.
Yeah.
And so these two artists, Kazuko and Hiromi, are who we're following here. Hiromi is worried that she's falling behind, and maybe she's thinking about leaving the industry. Maybe she's not cut out for it. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but it is a tough industry to be in.
We will definitely talk about it later.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. They run past a bookstore on their way to that was in a flashback when they're talking to their boss. They're getting to work, so they're running past the bookstore. Ami emerges from the bookstore.
Because of course she does.
Because Tokyo is about 3 blocks.
Well, I just mean like she loves books.
It's just a triangle. So. And one of the artists drops some of their art in an envelope. And Ami picks it up. It's got an address on it.
Thank goodness.
They work at Studio Dive in Tokyo. And Ami's like, I need to take this back. But I have cram school. Womp, womp. So cram school gets in the way one more time.
I know, right?
Meanwhile, at Creep House, Nephrite he's doing the thing. He's doing the planetarium thing. Mm-hmm. He's calling on the star power. He's calling on the twins this week, the constellation of Gemini. And you guessed it. He's targeting Hiromi, the insecure artist of the pair that we saw before. He says that he's going to use his strongest monsters this time. Oh, boy. So, after school, Ami is in the neighborhood of the anime studio. She wants to drop this thing off. And she sees a red Ferrari sail past her with Nephrite at the wheel.
Yep.
Does he drive everywhere? Isn't he like an immortal, eternal spirit?
Yeah.
Can he like teleport? Does he just like driving?
I think he loves driving.
He loves the smooth action of his Ferrari.
Yeah, like I think he takes full advantage of all his human like things that he gets.
Wearing that yellow
weird
shirt.
Mansion and yeah, exactly.
It's like a buttercream silk shirt.
Yes.
And these pleated purple trousers.
Yes.
Yeah, like the Joker on vacation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's distressing. It's late at the studio, and Hiromi is putting in some late hours, but she's frustrated. She's looking at Kazuko's folder, and Kazuko's got a ton of work done in there, and this does not help Hiromi's outlook. But this situation calls for the special pencil.
Yeah.
And we get another flashback, a lot of flashback storytelling in this episode.
Yeah.
We get a flashback to when the girls were in high school, and they were seniors. They were dreaming about being pro animators, and they go to the store, they buy these premium pencils.
Yes.
Whatever that means. And they say they'll only use them to draw.
I think they're like nice drawing or drafting pencils. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not like a number 2 pencil.
Right. They're special.
They're only going to use them to draw the finest anime that will never disappoint the dreams of children. What?
I know.
And anyway, they're going to get each other's permission to use these pencils. They're not going to use them on their own. It's a teamwork thing. Well, Hiromi's been using her pencils quite a lot. She opens up her little box, and she's got like a third of one of her pencils left. Mm-hmm. And as she's contemplating this, sexy jazz music heralds the arrival of Mr. Masato Sanjoin, a.k.a. Nephrite. He just shows up at the studio, and he says, "Oh, you're my favorite animator." And he puts his crest on her pencil, and that's it. He leaves. Not a big exchange between him and the victim this week.
Yeah.
And as he's leaving, he's thinking to himself, okay, I got to lure the Sailor Warriors here. And I'm like, which is it? Are you doing this to get energy? Or are you trying to kill the Sailor Scouts? Or is it both?
I think it's both.
You have to focus on one or the other? Maybe that's your problem. You're spreading yourself too thin. And a lot of driving. The gas bills, he turns it in to the Dark Kingdom, and it's like, what is this? You drove to Hokkaido.
Queen Peril is not pleased.
Yeah. But one of the sailors is already there, as Sailor Mercury is there on the street to confront him, and she's standing on top of his car.
I know.
And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he aggressively knocks her off the car and jumps in, and he taunts her that the best monsters are yet to come. And he peels out. And, Ami was never like the fighter of the group.
No, not really.
Although if he's so tough, why didn't he just like rub her out right there? Like,
I know.
He's got her alone.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's going to leave to the monster. I like, too, that his license plate is his crest as well. Which is, I don't know how that works.
That.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Good branding.
Dark Kingdom thing.
Kazuko comes back into the studio, and it's too late. Hiromi has the smug disregard we've come to associate with being a pawn of Nephrite.
Yep.
She doesn't get a real look change though. She's not like wearing cutoffs and.
Oh no, you're right. like the teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the dressmaker.
She's a teacher. Yeah, she was like a home ec teacher or something like that.
So Ami comes up to the studio to hand off the art she found, and she kind of hits it off with Kazuko. I think the voice of Kazuko is the same voice actress that does Haruna. Miss Haruna.
That could totally
just
be
sounded really.
possible.
I checked the credits.
Yeah,
but only the principals get credited, which I think is pretty.
Okay.
Probably pretty normal for.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyway, just it's a way to save money. You have people just do multiple voices, and so I don't know, whatever. And then the next day at school, Luna is scolding Ami for trying to take on Nephrite alone, and Usagi's like, "I would have came if you called me, because that's when they're producing the Sailor V anime." So it's decided they're all going to go to the studio after school. Kazuko invited them back, and they have to understand the Nephrite connection here. Mm-hmm. And I don't think do they even know at this point what Nephrite is doing to people? Did they ever know what Jadeite was doing to people? Do they get the energy thing?
I don't know that they know, honestly. Well, they had to have known with Jadeite because, like,
all they know is
they knew he was bad.
He hands out stinky rabbit pets, and everybody goes crazy.
Right.
Or he's suddenly the gym in town.
There's a connection to him.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Do they get the energy thing?
No, I don't know that they do. Although Luna is told by whoever is on the other end at the arcade that the Dark Kingdom is taking energy. So they know they're taking energy. I don't know that they know, he puts his crest on something and then...
All they know is that every week they show up and they have to fight an anime monster.
Right. And like sometimes these Dark Kingdom guys are there too.
These guys with earrings
right.
taunt them.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think their ignorance has just become a theme at this point.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing, but that's fine. So anyway, at the studio, Hiromi is isolating herself from the rest of the group, and Kazuko is worried about it. The girls call Rei, and she's like, anime? I don't think so. No thanks. But then later, after school at Juban Jr., Rei shows up to meet Ami and Usagi, and she's ready to go. She's got her cute overalls on, and she's got a bag with lots of things to sign in it.
Yeah, it's like vellum sheets. Of vellum. Yeah.
For maybe like an artist to do like a sketch, something like that and sign. Yeah. So, Rei and Usagi are a lot alike. And the girls are getting out of school a little later than usual because Usagi was held back to study.
Yes.
We're going to get Dumb Bunny out of the way. I'm going to say 4.
Okay.
we definitely don't let you forget that Usagi is not she's not cursed with a vast intellect.
No.
But I think the power of the girls to work together gets focused on in this episode. And it's a good thing.
Yes.
Ami says, that's something else. Like, after they see all the vellum sheets, Ami's like, Rei, we're going to be in the 9th grade next year. What does she mean by that?
I think she's trying to
animes
shame
for
her
kids?
that she's treating her like you're being immature, like thinking you're going to get all of these autographs. Like
fangirling is for
that.
Kids?
Maybe that's what she's doing, although it's totally not.
I don't like
know
all this
that's
cram
true.
school here.
Yeah.
And this whole conversation, Luna is it's not like a single drop of sweat. Like, she is beaded with sweat all throughout this.
Luna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure about the complex emotions that are happening in this scene. But back at Creep House, it's a second Creep House visit.
Yes.
Nephrite gets a visit from Zoisite.
Yeah.
And Nephrite's just like chilling on his balcony. He's just like hanging around, waiting for the plan to go off. And Zoisite taunts him a little bit. And it's like, geez, bang, you two already. Come on. What is this? At the studio, Usagi and Rei are going nuts over all the art. And Ami asks Kazuko if anything weird has happened. Before she can answer, Hiromi comes out and tells the girls to shut up! And there's a sign on the wall that says, keep conversations to 10 seconds. Wow. Like, the Japanese do not play around.
No, they do not.
If it can't be said in 10 seconds, don't say it! Kazuko says to Hiromi, hey, take it easy. These girls are fans. They came to, check out our stuff. And Hiromi's like, they just want autographs and sell art. At which point, speaking of going past sweat drops, Rei and Usagi turn to glass.
I think they're it's just supposed to mean
or
they're
metal or something like
they're
that.
Like super embarrassed and like they're getting called out on.
But why? But they become like chrome.
I don't know.
Like, if they're glass, they can see right through us. But is that too much of a cultural stretch for the metaphor?
No,
I've just never. You always see it's big sweat drop,
right?
Or I fell over, my feet are in the air.
I think what you're saying is on mark.
There's a lot of animation embellishments in this episode, which I guess
probably done on purpose.
Yeah,
because of the anime
setting.
theme.
But
yeah.
The phone rings and it's the director. And speaking of embellishments, they do this neat thing where you don't just hear his voice, or we don't just cut back and forth. He tears open the frame. Like, he pops out of a hole that he rips in the frame, and then he's inset on his side of the call.
Yeah, that's
it's
pretty neat.
Okay, we get it, Toei. You're good at this. And he says that Hiromi's pages, she's on the phone, are amazing, and she's got to draw the last scene. And she says, "Great, in the last scene, Sailor V will die."
Right,
because that's what kids want. She says they want a good story. And there's a hilarious bit where Hiromi. He's like, "What? No!" And Hiromi just hangs up. But as she's hanging up, you hear the director going, "Moshi, Moshi, Moshi, Moshi,
yeah.
Moshi, Moshi." But as he does it, his baby's like, "Babu, Babu, Moshi, Moshi, Babu, Babu, Moshi, Moshi." I hope they come back. Kazuko is like, "Wait, you can't kill Sailor V." Making anime is about teamwork. You have to make the decisions together.
Right.
And Hiromi says teamwork is pointless. And Rei says that she senses a monster's aura. No duh. Thank you, Rei. And the girls chase Hiromi to the roof, and Hiromi is suddenly engulfed by her pencil goes crazy, and blue and pink ribbons that are on the pencil.
I thought that was pretty
swirl
neat.
out. And it's neat. It's there's a lot of capital A anime stuff going on in this episode,
yes.
these big visuals and things like that. Not that it's not good normally, but
right,
there's
right,
a lot of set pieces. And the ribbons form into this week's Yoma, Castor and Pollux.
Yes.
And it's neat. Kazuko conveniently faints as the girls transform, and we get a 3-way thing between them.
Yes.
That's like, you can't do this. And then like second third of the screen, we're going to get you because we're the Sailor Twins or whatever.
Right.
And it's like it's very Super Sentai.
Yes.
So they're clearly like they're playing into like anime tropes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We cut somehow back again to Creep House. And Nephrite I'm going to call him Neff. Neff is explaining to Zoe that Castor and Pollux are a team. Their power is based on teamwork. And when they and they're bound by friendship. So when they work together, they're way stronger than the Sailor Scouts. We'll see. Back on the roof, the girls chastise the Yoma. They're like, you take advantage of girls' dreams and passion. And Usagi's like, the girls who like anime are mad. So, got him. Somebody 4. And they end with a Charlie's Angels pose. Like a real,
I know.
boom, we're going to get you. Castor and Pollux, they're very anime looking. They remind me of... there's a Dreamcast game long time ago called Space Channel 5.
Okay.
That had like this space... She was like a TV host or a radio host, and she had these weird things on her head, and she had blue hair and like this little skirt, and she was like, boop. So anyway, that's what it reminds me of. They're also kind of sailor-like.
Yeah.
Or at least they specifically are, because immediately they shoot fire and bubbles at the girls.
Yeah, they have the same powers.
So this is, we never get any background on the Yoma, but it's almost like the Dark Kingdom was like, what if we make like our own like Bobo Sailor Scouts?
Right.
Like, could we beat them? But they got some kinks to work out, because as soon as they sort of flatten the girls, they start to argue over who gets to finish them off. And that's when the girls show them real teamwork.
Yes.
They all get up and they blast them with all 3 of their attacks at the same time. So we get a fiery, bubbled moon tiara.
Which is so cool.
And Castor and Pollux scream, we should have valued our friendship more! And they're dead.
Yes.
And under all of this, I didn't notice this until the second time I watched it. There's a new song playing. At least I'd never heard the song on the show before. I looked it up. And it's called Suki ni Kawate Oshioki Yo, in the name of the moon, we will punish you. And it's got, if you listen to the song, it's got 3 vocalists, and they're all, I believe, the voice actors behind the girls. Oh. And they're all singing like their song in character. So it's like, we're the Sailor Scouts. And, you know, Ray's like, we gotta get them. And Usagi's like, I'm scared. And Ami's like, come on, have courage. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew it was a new song and it was like the sailors singing, but I didn't realize it was their actual voice actors. That makes sense because a lot of the times in Japan, you have to be at least a double threat. Like you have to be like, be good at voice acting, but also be good at singing. So, because sometimes they'll ask you to sing as your character too. So that's really neat, though.
Yeah, it's like Usagi. Oh no, our opponent is a handsome guy. Ray's like, so what? I mean, this isn't the time to get carried away. And so the chorus is like, Ami's like, bubble spray, Ray's evil spirit disperse, moon tiara action.
I love it.
We won't allow you to make fools of girls. So yeah, and I gotta say, it's a banger. And it's got like elements of the Sailor Moon normal transformation song,
right?
The Moon Tiara action song, but they're sort of, it's got guitars and it's pretty great. It's good.
That's awesome.
Anyway, at Creep Castle, Zoe and Neff see Castor and Pollux disappear at this point, and Zoe's like, well, bye!
Yeah,
that was
peace
fun.
Out!
And at the studio, Kazuko tells Hiromi that she's insecure too, and she reveals that she's also been using the pencils.
Uh-huh.
And they recommit themselves to each other and to making anime that respects girls' dreams. I don't know. And then Luna and the Scouts are looking on from outside, and Luna says, looks like the Sailor V anime is something to look forward to. And then they all do look at the camera! Not like, but they're all like looking straight forward. So,
like they didn't do it before when you were expecting it, but then they did it at the end.
Does a wink mean something different in Japan?
I'd have to look it up. I don't think that's the case, but I think it means the same thing.
Is it because it's conspiratorial here?
Yeah, maybe.
But like you often see it, like in the big opening of Sailor Moon, she winks at the camera.
Yeah.
So
I think it means the same thing, but okay. I'll double check.
Well, then they didn't commit to the bit, but yeah. Everything will be good after this.
Right. I will look up winks for next time.
Doesn't really matter.
Oh, right. So what did you think about this episode overall?
Way better than last week.
Yeah.
I know that last week was like a departure and never aired on US TV. But
Yes.
did we push that fact? Doesn't really matter at this point.
We did talk about it.
These girls have gone wild.
Yeah, right.
Way better.
Yeah.
And of course, it's really kind of meta because it's about people making an anime. I did a little research, and as far as I can tell, none of the Studio Dive characters share any names with anybody who worked on Sailor Moon. So
why not?
Yeah, but it's not like one character is Naoko-chan or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, way better than last week. What about you?
What did you not like about last week?
Go listen to that show.
I know.
I just didn't like a little psychic girl who's never going to come back ever again.
Yeah, I know. It was.
I believe that I said that I would watch this if it was just
a different
Monster
show.
Hotel and it was like an actual show.
Right.
But I didn't want it in my Sailor Moon. But this is right up the alley. So much so that the bad guys are even kind of Sailor Scouts themselves.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little too much.
Yeah.
But I'll reflect that in my rating.
But I did enjoy the episode overall. I really liked the elements of teamwork that they're pushing, and that song that you gave us more background on is really cool too.
Yeah, it slaps.
And even though they're like talking about an anime and everything, and it's kind of meta, like it's not like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. You know what I mean? It's not like Hollywood making fun of itself. It's like, and then I don't know if they're necessarily
well,
making
they
fun
don't
of
go
themselves.
that deep into it.
No, they don't.
Like the girls are like, oh, I hope we can draw right.
Right.
It's like on the 17th hour of you being forced to draw because you work for a slave studio or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So,
Okay. Maybe we'll move to the next segment. How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold
I think
Jedi.
it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Jean Grey.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on this
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so sorry.
What?
Well, in our next segment, Kyoro Miru, Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we would talk about anime studios in Japan. The first known anime in Japan was created in 1907. 1961 marks the date when Japanese anime production companies started using the animation studio format that was designed in the U.S., probably mirroring that of...
I think you're talking about Katsudo Shastin.
Yes.
It was a like an animated film strip or something like that. Because I don't think they even had... Great Train Robbery was like 1905, right?
Something like that.
So I don't think, unless Edison, gave some cameras and projectors to the Japanese,
Right.
This would be just like a what is it called? They had this in like the Old West. I know because Red Dead Redemption, but then you could go in and like they'd have the picture shows. Like
that would move
they're basically
rapidly?
Slides, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how rapid they move. but-
Okay, right. So 1961 marks the date when Japanese anime production companies started using the animation studio format that was designed in the U.S., probably modeling after Disney and Hanna-Barbera, that sort of thing. Toei Animation started in 1956. Its first feature film was The Tale of the White Serpent, and that came out in October of 1958. Osamu Tezuka, who is known as either the father or godfather of manga, his first anime success was with the film Alakazam the Great. I
saw that with Shaq in it. Yeah, that was pretty good.
He was greatly influenced by Hanna-Barbera Productions in the late 1950s and created Japan's initial TV anime studio called Moshi Productions.
Moshi, Moshi, Moshi! Babu, Babu!
Well, I think Mushi is insect, and like Moshi Moshi is like hello, but yes.
They, I don't know if I'm going to cut into your timeline here, but
ahead.
this started moving.
Yeah.
Like right away.
Yes.
Like you said, it was like the first one was what have you said? But like Astro Boy was really early.
Yep. I was just going to talk about that. Yep.
Sally the Witch, Speed Racer, and like in the course of a couple years, and
Yes.
this is true in Western TV as well, but like the switch to color, they immediately it was color.
Yeah.
So it's like you've got a season or two of Astro Boy in black and white, and then bam, Go Speed Racer, like
Yes.
it's all color.
Yeah, like it. So Astro Boy was in 1963, and that popularity was so great that there were 3 new TV anime studios by the end of that year, and Toei also created their own TV department, so not just film-based, but animated cartoons as well. And the largest difference between North American and Japanese studios was the amount of adult subject matter that was being created in Japan. Tezuka felt that anime should not be limited to children and helped bring about several studios that worked on adult subject matter alterations of classic tales like Heidi, Girl of the Alps, 1001 Nights, and The Diary of a Young Girl. In the 1980s, the triumph of Hayao Miyazaki's movie Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind led to anime...
Yes, then the Studio Ghibli era began.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, Nausicaa isn't Ghibli.
Technically,
It was
it's not,
Hideki
but like it is.
Yes, I was been schooled.
I know it's technically not, but at the same time, a lot of people technically look at it as being like one of the
a lot
first
of people are
Ghibli.
technically wrong.
Yeah, well,
Let's see that Heidi.
yeah, right.
Can you get that still?
I bet you can find it somewhere. So Ghibli was created and backed financially by Takuma Shoten, which is a publishing house. Ghibli largely produced and continues to produce movies by Hayao Miyazaki and the late Isao Takahata.
When did we get to the otaku?
I don't actually have notes on otaku. Well, otaku are basically huge fans of like anime and manga largely, but otaku can be like crazy fans of like any sort of genre thing.
Yeah, but mostly Urusei Yatsura or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
That was like one of the first, like with Lum, the green-haired girl.
Yeah, I know what you're
That was
talking
one
about.
of the first like booty animes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Female creator too, at least on the manga side.
Right.
And yeah, so anime studios like to hire young, unseasoned individuals. So like the characters we saw in this anime, it's not really clear how old they are, but Harumi and Kazuko could have been hired right out of high school.
I got that impression.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long 12 pencils will last you, but they didn't seem. They seemed close in age to the girls. I know the girls are, at the end of junior high.
Right.
Yeah.
So basic artistic training is enough for you to basically get your foot in the door as a junior animator.
So we need to have the right terminology here.
Oh, okay.
And I beat my head against the wall trying to figure this out because
Okay.
I know that a mangaka is somebody who creates manga.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is
Somebody who creates anime.
Yes, the equivalent term for anime artists. And the best I could come up with was, there's 3 kinds of people. Because remember, animation isn't just some guy who draws Mickey Mouse, then draws him a little bit to the left, and so on and so forth. You have to... what these girls seem to be doing is storyboarding.
Yes.
Right? Because we never see them, like... They talk about cells, but they're not actually, like, working with cells. They're just producing these drawings, basically. And I would imagine... that's I don't know what part of the process that is.
Right.
But the storyboarders are called kante-man.
Okay.
The people that do layouts are called the genga-man.
Okay.
And that's just like
backgrounds.
Well, there's like key artists, and then there's like in-betweeners.
Sure.
So there's people who do like this is the pose that Naruto does, but then this is the part where Naruto flips over a thing and there's less detail because it's in motion, doesn't really matter.
Sure.
And so that's like the dogaman.
Okay. All right.
But none of those are something that you can just throw out as like, oh yeah, this is somebody who
Right.
you're a poet. You write poems.
Right.
Actually, I am a lyrical poet, and I write in the villanelle style or whatever. But these girls seem like they're just doing layouts, and I'm not sure if that's because they're rookies or they were hired specifically because their sketch work. They can work fast and they can work like really detailed in doing like storyboards or doing just boom.
It might
art.
be both, but I do get the feeling that they're kind of juniors within
Well, they're definitely juniors.
The studio.
It's a big deal that she gets to kill Sailor V.
Yeah. Yes, it's a really big deal. So you can basically just get your foot in the door with basic artistic training. When you first start out, the pay is not that much. It's best to look at this period when you are just starting out as a kind of lengthy internship during which you will be trained by a senpai and working on projects.
I read an account from a Westerner who...
Yeah, me too.
We probably read the same thing. Who was working at a not that great studio when he was first started out. Mm-hmm. And then kind of upgraded to a better one. He said when he got his start, he was getting between $5 and $25 a day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he was paid $1 a drawing.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't know if he was doing in-betweens or what he was doing.
Right.
So he could earn about, $40 a day.
Right.
And
right.
he said he was earning about $300 a month at the slave labor studio. And then when he leveled up to the kind of better one, he was getting about $1,000 a month.
That's so much better.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not enough to live on.
What do you do?
I know.
Have roommates.
I don't know. Yeah. So most animators in Japan work long, grueling hours, often working into the evening or over weekends and holidays. Most animators are lower class because they don't make a lot of money. A lot of animators are not in relationships, largely due to the long hours and not making a lot of money. They don't have a lot of free time to meet up and date someone, nor do they have a lot of money that they can spend on dating. Not all animators in Japan are crazy talented. There are marginally talented animators that get by because the studios need people so desperately.
Right. That's my chance.
Right? This is something that's kind of sad. Life expectancy for animators in Japan is low. People within the industry...
It's not funny.
No, it's not. People within the industry often die of karoshi, which is the Japanese word for death by overwork.
It's cool that they have a word for that.
Right. Of course they do.
I read an account where people would work until they threw up.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, I mean...
How do you even... What?
I don't know.
What is that point?
I don't know.
Yeah, in the stories that I read, strokes seem to be common occurrences. But the animators are very friendly. There's a sense of teamwork as everyone is facing similar work conditions. So that's a little positive note, I guess, at the end there.
So, is this the end of our show?
No, I don't think so.
Should we support?
I don't think so.
This seems like a horrible industry. Horrible exploitative industry.
It's not great.
Well, here's my theory about this.
Okay.
And if there's any more information about the anime business...
that was all I had.
Okay, good.
So.
Maybe we need less anime? I think it's great that there's a lot of anime.
Right.
Part of it is that I'm old and out of touch, but when I go on YouTube and I watch, videos about anime... I don't know what this is and what this guy is.
I'm right there with you.
Of things that My Heroes, just Academia or something. I don't know what any of this is. But there's also stuff that's I really have no idea what this is. And I don't know, maybe if there was a little bit less, you wouldn't have to work people to death to Funky Cole Medina, whatever it was. So all I'm saying is, it's great to have a lot of anime that we like, but people face this in the comics industry. People face this in a lot of industries, and I feel like the way that the Japanese kind of work people to death.
Yeah,
it would be really hard to change, but I wish they would.
I wish they would too. It would be really great to see a positive change in that. So moving on to Itadakimasu with Usagi, where we talk about what Usagi eats within the episode. Kazuko is shopping at a convenience store. Convenience stores in Japan are known as conveni. That's their way of making it convenience.
Nice.
Short. And this particular store is called 7-Mart. In Japan, they actually have 7-Eleven stores, so this is probably referring to that, is what I'm thinking.
She goes to get snacks for Hiromi, Kazuko
Yes.
does, and she says that Hiromi likes fried noodles.
Yes.
Now, I know that the Japanese have all kinds of magic. How do you get fried noodles from a 7-Eleven?
I'm thinking that it's maybe like a thing of like yakisoba that's like pre-cooked and you put it in like the microwave or
Okay.
something like that. That's
Okay.
kind of what I'm thinking.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so she bought that and I think presumably other things, and they presumably ate them later. And then like later when Zoisite checks up on Nephrite is drinking some kind of alcohol. I'm just assuming it's alcohol.
It's evil, an evil cocktail.
Yes, exactly. With his crest on it.
Tequila sunset.
Yes. So that's about all for what we ate during the episode. My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon. What the
Crazy
heck they're
fashion.
wearing. Oh my goodness.
You're going to have to just go with the best, because there's so many extras in this episode.
I know. I'm not going to talk about all the extras.
Well, but that's the best part, though. All the
Yeah.
cool, there's so many like weird and avant-garde things that people were wearing.
With the other animators,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I have a feeling that it was probably just the overworked animators on this show having fun, but also I would imagine that some artists, and definitely anime artists, express themselves in
Through their
different ways.
clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so too.
It's probably just a bunch of like guys with bags under their eyes and t-shirts, right? But
Probably.
there were some cool costumes in the crowd.
There were. I just wanted to mention too that the Studio Ghibli, when I've seen what is it called when it's like it's a movie but it's a documentary. Sorry. So Studio Ghibli, I've seen a couple of documentaries. The way that their studio is set up is very similar to how Studio Dive's studio was set up, with like all the draft desks kind of like close together and that sort of thing.
People talking for only 9 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kazuko is wearing an orange jumper with a yellow puffy sleeve blouse and a yellow headband. Hiromi is wearing brown slacks with a light blue and dark blue button-up shirt. Black square lensed glasses.
Yeah. Can we talk?
Yeah.
Can we talk?
Yeah, of course.
Hiromi had a real boy thing going on.
Yeah.
Was that a thing in Japan?
Well, I mean, I think that they're like anywhere. I feel like there are some girls who have kind of like a boyish
absolutely.
look.
Yeah. But also, like, people in Japan, some people, but definitely artistic people, I think are so concerned, or they want to express themselves specifically in the way that they walk, talk, and dress.
Yes.
Head down to Shibuya Station.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Great, I nailed it. So just like it's very non-feminine.
Yes.
And I just wonder if that's. I mean, we're never going to get into that in a kids show, but I just wonder what's going on there.
Well, I just, I think it's a choice. And I think she just feels more comfortable wearing stuff like that.
Well, you don't have
That's
to
what
get
I
into the
think.
character motivation. She's just ink.
I know.
I wonder why they chose to do that.
To do that.
Do women? Okay, how do I get into this? Do women who work in animation, and the answer is no, because I've watched the same documentaries, are they less feminine?
No, I wouldn't say that necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily true.
This is weird, and it's gone to a weird place, and I want to back us out of this somehow if I can.
Okay.
Hook the winch up to a tree, and we'll get out of this mud hole. What I'm saying is, this show is they literally makeup gives them power. So in a show where everybody's a pretty princess, this is a very different kind of character, but also cool and good looking. And I would be happy to see more of this.
I will say this without spoilers. You will see other characters
I got the
like
spray
this.
bottle.
No.
Okay.
You will see other characters that are similar to this.
Great.
That's all I'll say.
What I'm saying is, let me give the show a compliment. Every time I turn around,
Yeah.
you know it's Bucky Brewster. This show surprises me with the depth of the characters on display, the depth of the world. I've seen so many animes where it was such an afterthought for them to all be in fukus and the guys are in white short sleeve button up shirts.
Sure. Yeah.
They go to school and then blah, blah, blah. Let's get in the giant robots or whatever and take off. And like just the depth of characterization and fashion. I mean, that's why we're doing this show.
Yeah.
But this is like a great example of that for me. And you telling me that makes me, let's do it. Let's do the last 180. I know I was waffling at the beginning of the show, but
we're going to push forward.
All right. We're going to push forward right now.
So I just wanted to mention the Studio Dive animator director's baby, because she's wearing a pink outfit and white bunny-eared hat.
Yeah.
That was adorable.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then I know, and then Kazuko and Hiromi's school uniforms, which are very Sailor Fuku as well. Like they've got like the blue collars and then like the kind of like red like scarf underneath.
Scarves that were tied in the front, down a ways. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, very different. So they go to a different school.
Yeah.
They went to a different school. And then of course, as you mentioned, Ray's fabulous after school outfit, which is her pink overalls, her white shirt, and her aqua socks, and it looks like white clogs. And then the bag has like a pink fish on it, and it says Kinchu ! No clue.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to look it up, and I didn't find anything. So when we go to Villain Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked, of course, Nephrite called on the constellation of Gemini, and he said time to call on my strongest masters, Castor and Pollux. And Castor and Pollux in Roman and Greek mythology were twin half-brothers. In Latin, these twins are also known as the Gemini. Their mother was Leda. Castor was said to be the mortal son of the king Sparta, Tyndareus. And Pollux was the son of Zeus, who supposedly beguiled Leda by taking the form of a swan. Mm-hmm. Nephrite puts his evil crest on the pencil. We talked about that. And Castor and Pollux say they're bound by strong friendship and their tails are intertwined.
Yeah, they have like gooey tails.
Yes.
They were very anime in design, and they reminded me of like an Akira Toriyama character or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they were blue and pink or whatever, and they had like all these extra little things, and they had like headsets, or they had like tubes in their, I don't know if it was like technology or if it was like,
I don't know if it was like
biological, but they had things on their head.
Like
yeah, antenna and like tails, and so it was kind of weird.
And their hair was kind of blocky, so it was like, is that more tentacles? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a sheaf of hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as we said before, they had the same powers as Mercury and Mars, which is terrifying. And then they fought between themselves, and Sailor Moon said, "We'll show them what real teamwork is." And then they were done. They were just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to give them a 3. I liked a lot about them. I think if we had seen them for longer, and clearly, like, there is a structure to these shows. You're not going to get like a whole 5 episodes. You're not going to get a week-long Dragon Ball battle between the sailors and the bad guys, but they kind of had like one thing when they worked together. They immediately stopped working together, and they were immediately defeated. So, Glassjaw, no stamina,
right?
But great design. And I like the idea of more than one, because it's always just some flat-topped lady getting like pounded by the Sailor Scouts. So I like the idea of a group on group, a rumble a little better.
Yes.
But yeah, they went down a little too fast. But you know, they were good looking. 3 dark stars.
I also have to give them a 3 because similar reasons. I liked them a lot. I thought they were pretty cool, but I thought the Scouts kind of got rid of them pretty quickly. Although they did use the triple powers, which was really, really neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to also give them a 3. I have a new name for a segment that we've talked about before. It's called Natsukashī omoide, where we talk about things that we're revisiting from previous episodes. Natsutaki omoide means good old memories. So we were asked on a previous show, this was a couple of shows ago, about Rei's school being called TA Gakuin. It stands for Tokyo Eiwa Jogakuin Academy for Girls, which is a real school.
Huh.
It happens to be a Christian school. And it's an all-girls school. And
Hold up. You gotta hold up.
okay.
You gotta hold up right there.
Yep.
I can totally see this happening, but confirm for me now that there are Christians in Japan
Yes.
who also go and burn incense at Shinto temples.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're all done.
I know that
We're all done
seems
here.
really weird.
No, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Japanese, I think, are very good at compartmentalizing things.
Yeah,
Anyways,
like a bento box.
yeah. And it's an all girls school. It provides education for girls from kindergarten through college. The T most likely. It said Tokyo. It's Toyo. Sorry, excuse me. Eiwa Jogakuin. So the T represents the Toyo, and the A, like the letter A, which sounds like EI in Japanese, is Eiwa because it's pronounced A in Japanese, which could explain the TA chosen by Nako Takeuchi.
Sure. To not get sued.
Yes. And then another question that was asked was, what time of year does college start in Japan? I did confirm this. College starts in April after spring break and runs until summer break in July. And then after summer break, it picks up again. So it is the same school year as high school in Japan.
So do you have college on Saturdays?
No, I don't. Well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I can let you know.
It just creates more questions. Well, I mean, you just have it like whenever you have it. And I mean, it's not unheard of. I mean, you could do like a lab or something on a Saturday in college.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
If some professor was dumb enough to agree to it.
Yeah, right. I could see that as well. So we're at where we rate the show 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best. I really liked the scouts working together with their teamwork and to defeat the bad guys. So even though I didn't give the bad guys a huge rating, I'm going to give the episode a 4 out of 5 roses. How about you?
Yeah, I'll give it the same thing, I think.
Okay.
Because it was just, yeah, I mean, it was not great. It was another episode. I could kind of look at it as another episode where they kind of leave the beaten path. It's not exactly a beach episode. This is, this is an example of an episode where you take a little lacuna, you do a little oxbow, where you're not really pushing the plot forward all that much.
Right.
But it's interesting still. Like,
Yeah.
I found this interesting. I found the beach episode to be goofy and a lark and
Yes.
not really enriching.
Yes.
So I would have to say 4 too, even though we voted the same thing on the villain and the rating for the show.
I know. I didn't change my rating, so. And my English title for the episode is Anime Teamwork. Powers win combined. What's your...
I did say Animator Blues before.
Yes.
Don't cry over spilled ink.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's got to be some kind of cliche. I just realized that his name is Nick Cliche. He's a cliche.
Oh my gosh. That's
not
wow.
anime.
No. I never even thought about that before.
Yeah.
That's wow. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 22. Geika no Romantsu, Usagi no Hatsu Kisu in Japanese, Romance Under the Moon, Usagi's First Kiss, the English translation, and the English title, Worth a Princess's Ransom.
Geika no romansu. That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
This would be a lot easier if I could speak Japanese.
Why is that?
Because I would know what everybody's saying.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
We should have valued our friendship more.